Good morning, good morning. This Sunday morning. This is Maniac Tim with Maniac Sports. And hey, off season's in full swing. Um, Free agents are out there. Um, Combine's going to be coming soon. Draft is going to be coming soon. Uh, how do you think the Lions are going to do? Do you think the Lions should build in the draft, or should they build in the free agency? And how close are they as far as to the Eagles? As far as for actually being able to compete. I was listening to some of the talk shows and stuff like that. They're saying that the Lions are probably about the third best team in the NFC. Is that true? I mean, if you look at it, a, a point can be made. A point can be made where, yeah, that could be true, because, of course, we got our ass whipped by good old the Commanders. They pretty much spanked us and sent us to bed. Didn't really give us dinner either, but of course we were depleted in the defense. So what so what goes on? What is it that is going to go ahead and put the Lions over the top? How can they build that defense? How close are they to being competitive with actually the number one team in the NFL, which is, and you can't argue with, the Super Bowl champions, um, Philadelphia Eagles. They are the Super Bowl champions. They basically kicked the Commanders' butt. They ended up kicking the Chiefs' butt. You know, they just went ahead and showed them that they were the best. Now, St. Brown was on his podcast. I'm Ron St. Brown, the Sun Gone. He was on his podcast, him and his brother's podcast. He wants to see the Eagles next year, the first game of the season, to start out the season, because we should have everybody healthy. You know, um, and plus the additives of the who we get from the draft, or do we trade our picks? This week's picks, next week's picks, maybe to get Crosby, maybe to get Miles Garrett. Is the price too high? How close are the Lions to that goal? And what would they need to give up? What would the future mean? Um, how many players are the Lions away from that coveted Super Bowl appearance, Super Bowl win? You know, and would it have been different if the Lions wouldn't have been so banged up on defense, or was the defense going to be strong enough as we want them to be? I think we need some more. I think we need another edge rusher. I really think so. I'm not really, really, really impressed with what I've seen in the draft. I mean, there's too many holes in a lot of these. I was listening, doing some research and stuff like that within the 2 hours from my last stream that I did, 2 3 hours, whatever the heck it was. But I really was not that impressed. So are the Lions just that one player, two players, three players away? And what happens, is if we end up getting a lot of injuries again next year? You know, in what state will it be? You know, in what state will the Lions be? Will the Lions be able to take over the first place? I mean, hey, in the regular season, we had the best record, and we know that. You know, Eagles were toe to toe with us. So, um, the Vikings were toe to toe with us. You know, everybody knows that that number one seed took us to the last game of the regular season to secure that, and we had to go ahead and beat the Vikings to do it. Otherwise, they would have been the number one seed. But you know, we were that much better than the Vikings. I don't see where the Vikings would have been able to beat either the Commanders or the Eagles. There's just no way because the way you know, I don't see where the Vikings would have been able to. But they are close. They are also a close team, and these teams are getting better. Plus, they have higher draft choices. Should the Lions consider trading down in the draft too to get maybe a better edge rusher than they can at the 28th spot? You know, is that the way to go, or invest in a free agent that they might be able to work with? You know, I mean, it's that's what we got to look at. You know, I don't have all the answers. You know, I don't. I mean, I wish the Lions could just have a blank checkbook and just bring whoever the hell they want in. But you know, in these days, in the days of the NFL currently, you have a higher salary cap. You know, you got to go ahead and work with it. Now there are numbers out there. We do have room in the salary cap, but we got to sign and keep the players that we got. You know, we got to keep the players that we got, and then we got to get better with the players that we don't have. So we got to keep it's it's that balance. You know, should we keep building in the draft, or should we give up draft picks and get that outstanding free agent? You know, some people say, hey, you know, the window has passed. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think the window has passed. You know, and just because the Eagles had this way of success that they won this year, it doesn't mean that that's exactly the right way. Because if you could blueprint one way to win the the Super Bowl, then you would have more repeat champions all the time, or you would have the copycats that would do it. You know, what makes a good edge rusher? Speed, strength, ability, agility. That's what makes a good edge rusher. Being able to go ahead and break through that hole, being able to get to that quarterback, being able to tackle those running backs, tackle the quarterbacks. Uh, and we also need uh, corners. You know, we we're looking at our secondary. You know, of course we're going to have Tirano. He's going to be back again, but you know, we lost too. We have lost a corner too. So you know, I mean, there's and then we also got to keep up our offensive line. You know, there's guys that are getting old that may be retiring. You know, how much longer do we got Glasnow's in there? You know, how much longer do we got him? You know, we don't know. We don't know how much longer the Lions are going to be able to keep. You know, yeah, we got Panay Sue, you know, signed for a few more years. We came big with that. Now, you also got to look at, um, you know, you got people like St. Brown that are reaching out to these people. This is not the same old Lions. The Lions are contenders, you know. So at we are looking at the Lions competing, you know, and hey, it's just I think they're just a couple players away from being able to make that Super Bowl. That's what I think. Hey, Grandizer 12, how's it going? How's it going, buddy? Yeah, um, glad to see you here. Uh, this is the same old Lions. More growling. Roar! No, it's not the same old Lions. It may be the same old Maniac, but the same old Lions means devastation, giving up. And the Lions don't just give up anymore. So I can't agree with you there. You know, I can agree with you there because I don't think this is the same old Lions. I think the Lions are a couple players away. I mean, we got our butts handed to us in the NFC um, round of the playoffs, the divisional rounds of the playoffs. So we did get our butts handed to us. But I'm thinking too, we could have underestimated the Commanders too, and plus we can't forget the injury. What brings out the maniac in me? What brings out the maniac in me? Spending all that darn money and losing that uh, game, going spend. Oh gosh, that's what brings out the maniac in me. And let me go ahead. What brings out the maniac in you? All right. What brings out me? Please place answer. Now, okay. All right. Unleash the maniac. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? And the Lions need to unleash the maniac of the okay. Saint Brown hero Dan Campbell since he's shoot. Damn. Sorry, I was not expecting that to happen. But Dan Campbell, since he's actually the only coach, the only coach that we have left from that season. You know, now if I look at the Super Bowl, you know, I gotta give. If I look at the Super Bowl, um, you know, you gotta say Perez. He's a coach. He's a. I mean, that was a. uh, but you know what? I mean, and I'm sticking by this no matter what. I hope Ben Johnson fails in Chicago. Chicago is a rival. Uh, so I hope Ben Johnson fails in Chicago. I'm gonna keep on saying that. It's just that you know I'm not so mad about Aaron Glenn. I'm not mad that uh, Ben Johnson went ahead and took the job. I mean, or took a coaching job, head coaching job. I just don't like that he did it in a NFC North. team. Aaron Glenn, at least he's not even in the NFC. So what will it hurt us? Who knows? I don't know. I hope not. I hope it won't hurt us. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I even had sneezes too. I'm just kind of glad my camera was off when I did that. Ah, jeez. It was kind of. I wasn't expecting that. See, man, you bring out the maniac of my insides too. Oh boy, yeah. Well, how you been? Hey, draft is a little bit away. Combine's coming up. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'll end up going to the draft this year in Green Bay. I'm really not exactly sure. You know, some Lions fans said Ben Johnson taking the Bears job was Chuck move. Your thoughts? I I don't like the idea of them. I just think Ben Johnson. Yeah, I do not mind that but the Bears. I don't know. You're going to one argument. You have our biggest rival, are besides Green Bay. You know, I don't like that he did it. You know, now do I think that he more or less gave up the game because of the divisional round or playoff? Uh, I don't think he deliberately went ahead and gave up the game. I think he wanted to win, but I could see maybe where, who knows? His heart might not have been in it. I think it was wrong of the Lions to go ahead and give permission, and I do think that it was wrong of both him and Aaron Glenn to go ahead and be looking why the Lions were still playing. I think they should have put the Lions first. I think the job would have been there afterwards. Uh, just go ahead and you concentrate on getting that Lions victory. Then afterwards, you know, because hey, it was what, a day afterwards was when they actually signed it. Lions should have never and should never in the future give anybody permission to go ahead and uh, interview their coaches why the season is still on. You know, I'm happy Ben Johnson got a head coaching job, just not with Chicago. Aaron Glenn, hey, I wish him well. I wish his team all well. Except when they're standing our way, then I want to beat his butt. But other than that, and it's just okay. Uh, so Tim, same Lions fans, or some, I'm sure some Lions fans said Ben Johnson going to the Lions is like letting your maniac seduce your best friend wife. You just don't allow that. And I feel that way. I feel actually betrayed. You know, but if it, Okay, I think it was a combination of things. I do think that the money talk, and from what I heard, he wanted his family to live there anyway. Uh, I money and power, yeah, yeah, and I think money and power, and also having a good nucleus of the team. You know, Caleb Williams has the possibility of being a top-notch quarterback. You have Doomsday, um, you know, good running back, couple good receivers, defense, and I think that he felt that he could win there, and I don't think that it would have that he felt that if he let this opportunity go, that he might not get another chance but just think of it. Last year he left the Commanders go. All right. And you know, because he thought that that was a horrible organization, and this year they're the ones that made it to the NFC Championship. Now, hey, money talks, BS walks. Power. I mean, if he can go and that quarter, Caleb Williams does have talent, but can he build that offensive line? And that's what they need. But I'll tell you what, if they get a great offensive line like the Lions got, man, with the weapons they got on offense, OMG, OMG. They're they give the Lions fits as they are. Okay, except for I mean that they haven't been competitive. But I'll tell you what, I think the Lions need to go ahead and concentrate on defense and get that edge rusher, because one of the things that the and I think it's more than just they got to really secure up that defensive line. They got to do that. So if they could get the people healthy, I just don't see I mean because we the Lions got to get good enough to be able on the defensive line be able to compete the with the Chiefs, with the Philadelphia. You know, they got to go ahead and be able to stop the running quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, like Jalen Hurts, like Caleb Williams can be. And that's so that defense they need to build up. Okay, Tim, to you. Which job should Ben Johnson should have taken if staying with the Lions was not an option? I think Jacksonville. I think that would have been good. Uh, because they're paying somebody as much. Uh, maybe the Raiders. You know, uh, but not not a rival division. You just don't do that. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, we both agree on that. I think the Jags would have been good. There you have oh God, I can't say his name right now, but Lawrence, you know, the quarterback. You have so I think that Jacksonville would have been the Jaguars would have been a good and plus they would now hey he would have been competing more against Aaron Glenn and stuff like that too because they're both AFC teams. Um, and like I said, the Raiders would have been I think would have been a good fit for him too. But I don't think he would have got the money from Raiders as what he would have got from Jacksonville. But I mean, just because somebody is a good offensive coordinator doesn't mean he's going to be able to build a great team, be able to be that head coach. So we'll get to see. You know, I'm hoping he fails. I really am. Okay, Tim, who are you more upset about leaving? Ben Johnson or Glenn or both equally? Ben Johnson, just because where he went. You know, um, Glenn. Now, you know, you can't blame anybody for wanting a promotion. You know, you can't blame that. You know, um, but when it's more or less like your stepsister that you go to, or I mean, okay, when it's more like the Hatfields and the McCoys that you go to, two families that hate each other because they're rivals, or you have like a neutral family that just happens to be in the same business. You don't, if you're the Hatfields, you don't go to the McCoys and help them beat the Hatfields, or vice versa. So that's why 100%, I'm more upset. Uh, Offensive coordinators, we can get. I mean, I think we're going to do good. I'm just kind of concerned about golf. I'm concerned, because is our new offensive scheme going to be able to work with, because you need all the pieces right for golf. And in my earlier show today, you know, that was one of the things that I was saying. And I have said this before, so I don't want to throw golf under the bus. I think that he should be our starting quarterback. That's 100% keep him our starting quarterback. But I'll tell you what, you need a backup quarterback that's quality too. That if for some reason Goff goes ahead and gets a concussion and then is out for a couple of weeks, this guy can step in. You need a backup quarterback that if Goff is having a bad day or a bad month, that you can bring somebody in and they can lead the Lions to victory. So, am I for getting Miles Garrett or Crosby? Yeah, I'm for that. But as I said before, and as when I talk to people, I'm not for if you got to give up too much to get them. I'm okay with giving up traffic. Okay, I'm okay with that, but I am not okay with destroying the nucleus of our team that has got us this far. We've seen this play out before. Okay, we've seen it 91 when the Lions went ahead. All right, and went ahead from their system to run and shoot, and went ahead and said, okay, we're not going to go ahead and play this way anymore. We're going to go ahead and go, change everything around and stuff like that. And then what happened? For years after that, it took us until more or less now to go ahead and get to where we're actually can say that we are an actual contender in the playoffs. Yeah, we were one and done this. The Lions were one and done this year. Last year, we wasn't. So keep what we got, but build stronger on the defensive end side. I would also, and I and as I spoke before in my previous show, I did say, and I was talking with one of my friends at work too, and actually Tim Reardon. You know, he did say that he thought that um, he thought that some of the plays when you go for it on fourth down and you have like fourth and a couple, you go ahead and do a pitch back, and then you got to get 5 yards instead of 2 yards, you know, or instead of, sometimes you get too fancy, you know. Sometimes you just don't got to get, you just got to do, get behind your offensive line, do that quarterback push, and go ahead and get that fourth down. And another reason I would like to see, is something too that if Hendon Hooker, and I'm not calling him a bust, okay, I'm not calling him a bust for sure, because I think, I mean, I think he got to develop more. But if one of the things that's been bad, okay, is that Jameson Williams is so fast. If you can get somebody that's more accurate with his speed, uh, to throw the ball to him for those scoring drives, you know, somebody that can throw that ball down the field more further than maybe what Goff can, you know. So, and sometimes I wouldn't mind platooning every once in a while a quarterback in there. You know, I don't know if Hendon Hooker is that guy. And that that was one of the things that uh, people are really saying is that go ahead and put Hendon Hooker in the deal as far as if you go give um, Cleveland you know two draft picks, two first round draft picks, throw in Hendon Hooker, maybe throw in Jameson Williams. No, I don't mind giving away the draft pick. All right, but I'm sorry, we need that strong backup quarterback just in case Goff were to get injured. And I would like to see some. I would like to see really what Hendon Hooker can do. I would. I want to see how he plays in a game that matters. Now, in saying that, okay, you know, I'm going to release Flip Larry. Yeah, but in saying that, you know, Goff's our number one quarterback. He is, you know, but if you have him where you get that defensive, he's not that mobile. You know, he's a system quarterback. He's not really mobile. And there'll be times when you got games like we had against um, Houston. You know, um, games against like we had against the Commanders, where it just falters, where he falters. Everybody does it. Okay, everybody can do it. Just ask Patrick Mahomes. You know, but to have that guy that you can bring in that can go ahead and get the job done, when Goff may be having a bad day, who knows? I'm for whatever I'm for whatever it takes to win. Yeah, yeah, that's another line first down, and that's what we got to do. And that one of the things with having a quarterback that can be mobile, you can get like I'm look what Keegan Daniels has did to us. Look what CJ Strauss did to us to the Lions. Uh, look what Justin Fields done to the Lions. You know what a mobile quarterback does is it adds another dimension to your offense. You don't you don't own if you got a mobile quarterback that can go ahead and he's about ready to get sacked, but he can scramble out. Hey, it adds another element to your attack, another part to your offense that their defense needs to worry about. Whoever the opponent is, you know. Yeah, and we just gotta keep on seeing. What you say there? Another first down, another first down. Next year, I'll tell you what. You know, I mean, I would love to see them win the number one seed again next year, but I don't want it to end. I want them to be more competitive. You know, I mean, if you look at what the Lions did with the amount of injuries, and not to um, overlook on the questions that you did ask me before, do I think the Lions peaked too soon? Maybe that is a possibility. But then I look back at it. Do I think the Chiefs peaked too soon? Do I think uh, the Eagles peaked too soon? I I think that injuries just totally demolished. And unfortunately, we will never know what the team could have done without the quantity of injuries that we had to the quality people. All right. I asked that question. Did the Lions peak too soon? And it offended Lions fans all over. And yeah, I could see that, and I mean it's a valid point, you know, it is a valid point. But I gotta counter, and I'm not mad. You know, I'm not offended. I'm not upset. Um, I'm just saying if you're if you're a I mean um, I think maybe the Lions didn't do enough in before the trade deadline. You know, more or less. You know, sometimes you gotta make those sweeping deals. Especially, I think that was more of a factor. Now, do I want a 1 year rental? You know, I mean, we the Lions need another strong edge rusher. Uh, I think it would have been a very different story had Hutchinson not got hurt, along with a lot of other supporting crew. And remember, the Lions are going to get Hutchinson back. You add another edge rusher, plus did Darius Smith there too. Hey, who knows? The Commanders peaked at the right time. So did the Rams. They just hit a better team with the Eagles. Valid point. Now, if you remember, though, is that actually the Commanders started up winning real big, at the beginning of the season. Then they had that downswing. So, they started off winning, you know, and and a lot of things you also look at is, I mean, yeah, they peaked and it grew at the right time. It grew their confidence. And what happened? You know, would the Commanders have really still done what they did if if the Lions? I mean, it's hard to be at your peak all the time, especially when half of your defense or more is on injured reserve. You know, the Eagles showed it's a team that wins the Super Bowl. That good players on both sides of the ball. Exactly. Exactly. Good players, great players. Yeah. I mean, 100%. Never had to blitz the quarterback. Now, am I surprised at how the Super Bowl went? I'll tell you what. I think that that the Chiefs, even being in the Super Bowl, they were damn lucky. Excuse the language. If you look at their season, yeah, they had the best record of football for most of the time. They probably could have got away with only one loss had they played their guys the last game of the season. They, you know, instead of setting everybody out. But if you look at in the playoffs, if you look at their season, they barely won a lot of their games. And then in the playoffs, there was a lot of controversy where people, I mean, people that usually keep their mouth shut was calling out the refs in the NFL. I think the main reason the Chiefs were in there, it was good for the NFL why they were in it. And if you look at the AFC and the NFC championship games, the Eagles dominated the Commanders, where the Chiefs they barely got past Josh Allen and the Bills. And they were also getting their butts whipped by the Texans until the Mr. Protect Patrick Mahomes crews went ahead and got going. Should the Lions try to sign Sweat? If yeah, yeah, oh hell yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you, it was very unprofessional, but uh, C.J. Gardner Johnson said about the Lions. I I mean, hey, in a way, it diminished I what he did. I mean, hey, he played, yeah, and he kind of helped getting hurt. Okay, he couldn't help getting hurt. That's just the way it is. But maybe if maybe the Lions might have offered him a deal, later. I think he should have tried to sign at least one more year with, but hey, things worked out. He got a Super Bowl ring for him. Just don't go ahead and make the Lions look like a trash organization. I I don't think the Lions are. I I think the Lions are a quality organization, uh, and I think they proved it. And you know what? Ugh, the Lions are still king of the NFC North, but I'll tell you what, you the NFC North trash talking Kim Facebook group, uh, and yeah, I should expect it. Yeah, it's just like white on rice with the Lions losing. But I'll tell you what, Lions beat both teams or all three teams in the NFC North. They have nothing to talk about. And yeah, Okay, you gonna show that 18. So yeah, I okay, yeah, um, and yeah, yeah, sign them. Definitely sign them. You know, and you know what? If sign Sweat, get Max Crosby, you know, sign 'em. That's what we got to do. Sign, sign, sign. Just keep on. We got to bolster up our defense. We've got to, and it's being great too, on both sides of the ball. Now, I want to ask you a question, Grandizer. Uh, Aaron Glenn stated before a few years that he wanted to be the best defensive coach that the Lions ever had. Okay, do you think he accomplished that? I mean, argument can be made with what he had, especially. I mean, yes, it ended in a bad way. But you know that damn Washington team, they have our number. You know, it's they have had our number. I mean, God, gosh, it's there was nobody that thought that Washington, except Washington themselves, that thought that they would beat the Lions. But I'll tell you, the Lions didn't have answer. You know, and yes, they got away with. They that you figured there was a 14-point swing at one time, uh, with that bad call that were should have been unnecessary roughness against the Commanders. But I just don't think the defense was strong enough though for the Lions to go ahead and it was depleted. Do I think you know? So do you think that Aaron Glenn, and this goes for anybody else out there too that is listening? All right, do you think that Aaron Glenn was the best defensive coordinator that the in Lions history, and we'll say Super Bowl era, you know, because if I mean you can say there might have been other defensive coordinators before the Super Bowl because the Lions did have like 3 or 4 NFL championships. So in the but that argument can be made, especially going 15-2 with the depleted offensive or defense that we had, that the Lions had, you know. So that's how I got to look at it. I think there's that but is it hands down he was the total best? Um, Now, and like I stated before, to not to get not to try to go away from the subject, but I just don't want to beat the subject over the head too long. Um, you know, and I said this. I have no animosity against Ben Johnson becoming a head coach. It's just the team that he became a head coach for. All right, Tim. So many factors go in with Aaron Grant. How many players did he develop? Did he get the most out of his players, or did he just have good talent? You know what? And I'll tell you, if you look at it, you know, I gotta say this is true. The most out of his players, because even when the talent wasn't there, the Lions kept on winning. Okay, the one huge factor that I recall it that some Lion fans didn't want to talk about it last year, even if part of the year. How many times Aaron Glenn was on the hot seat? True, that is true. And some of the stuff, and that's, I mean, I'm glad you brought up that point. You know, um, but if you looked at, I mean, yeah, they invested some last year in the defense, but I don't think they invested as much as what they should have, as much as what they could have. Um, if I got to fault Brad Holmes for one thing, is that I think, I'll tell you, Gibbs is definitely better than DeAndre Swift, definitely. But I think he did get, the trade for like a third round draft pick for DeAndre Swift. I don't think it was enough, or fourth round, whatever we got. You know, I'm not gonna fault Holmes for get because I think Gibbs proved. And yeah, the Lions did get Terry, and I don't know, last year. I mean, Gibbs was 2 years ago. That that was my bad in stating it the way that it did. But I think it was just put, you know, uh, the main, because if you look at, okay, Aiden Hutchinson and Terry and you did have other, they did. Uh, Jack Campbell was, the pick. I don't think he panned out as well as he should have. You know, um, but I just think the talent was not there, and that's where we got to bolster up the defense. And sometimes you get lucky with picks, and sometimes you don't. You know, okay, yeah, okay, and yes, I already read that one. Uh, but yeah, I mean that's definitely a a great factor to bring up. too is that Lions and Lions. I Glenn was on the hot seat last year too. Uh, but I just don't think the talent because we were weak. We were weak in a lot of areas, and I think they did do more to address that in free agency and stuff like that this year, but it was just injuries. But uh, you know, sometimes you just sometimes things just don't work out too. You know, Aaron Glenn has a certain way, and we'll get to see what goes on next. What will the Lions uh, new defensive coordinator end up doing? Um, I gotta get back on here. Uh, yeah, they did. They promoted. Uh, they promoted the defensive coordinator one, and then they got a former Lions receiver for. And it's like the mind grabber got me as far as for the name it. I'm why can't I think that gets me mad when I can't think of our offensive coordinator's name because I had looked it up. Or I mean, and I know. We're just gonna do this. Lions offensive coordinator. Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. Morton. Yeah, see Johnny Morton, and yeah, Johnny Morton is our new offensive coordinator, and I don't know why I couldn't think of the name. Because I remember Johnny Morton being uh, that guy that would come up with and Kevin Shepard is our defensive coordinator. He was promoted. So so we do got so basically one new guy, but they're both you know former players and stuff like that. I remember Johnny Martin back when you know. Uh, You know what? Sometimes I think I need to. But no, I have not been drinking. It's shoot. And I mean, and it's what I mean. I know, Johnny Moore. I know him. I know. It's like slap myself on and wake my ass up as far as for what the heck, you know. And of course, Kevin Shepard being and I think it was he was a linebackers coach before. So that's who the Kevin Shepard was. So he's been with the Lions for a while. And actually, Glenn's been on the hot seat a few years. Not this year he was not on the hot seat as much, but the last couple of years he was on the hot seat. But you also this year was when they really put uh you know really put a bit more into getting the cornerbacks, secondaries, and you know where before they didn't. It was although year before last I think they picked two and two, but it was not. And if you remember too, Jack Campbell was kind of like well, why? That was one of those. Jack Campbell was a kind of scratch your head pick. When they picked him up, picked him because he was 2 years ago. He was oh gosh, it was 2 years ago. I mean, he was yeah, he was kind of slow to develop, more or less. And he was a number one pick and stuff like that. So so yeah. God, what's it? No, I can't stop yawning and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been up, uh, but I don't want to quit. No, I don't. I don't. I definitely don't want to quit. Oh, I see. Wanted to look at some. Now, as far as for if the Lions don't trade, all right, and according to more or less the Bleacher Report, the best edge rusher, excuse me, that will probably be available when the Lions pick, because they pick 28th overall, uh, would be London Jackson out of Arkansas. Scouting report, height is 6'7", so he has that the height ability. Weighs 280 pounds, positives, great length, size for the NFL. Defensive end. Uh, has room for growth on his frame, too. It needs to be. As a run defender, he's physical and at the point of attack and takes on blocks with decent leverage for a tall player. Uh, Strength allows him to get extensions, offensive tackles, and set the edge. Good blocking, good block recognition, recognizes when he's unblocked and stays tight to the line of scrimmage. He's active hands as a pass rusher to help. Uh, Defense, the hand defeats the man. Okay, good cross chop and long arm movement with wins with. Uh, Effective online. That's that one. Now the negatives of him is he's a little slow and robotic with movement, not quick or very athletic, lacks acceleration off the line of scrimmage, wins with speeds to win with speeds around the edge. Uh, okay. I was gonna say, bull rush, underwhelming for his size. So there's room for for growth there where he needs his pads levels rises when he rush the passer. Fans at the top of the rush is just average. Why is it going up and down like that? Not volatile blocking shatters and doesn't have a move to get off blocks at the next level consistency. So I mean, you know, I'm not totally sold on him. Hand placement can be a little wide as a run defender. So there's some positivities, but overall, the first thing that stands out about London Jackson is his size. He certainly looks the part of an NFL defensive end. Even better, he carries his frame well and has room for growth if the team wants to add some weight to him. So, uh, Jackson is pretty good run defender. He has the strength and length to lock out offensive tackles and set the edge. Also shows decent blocking recognition to consistency, be in the right spot and the physical and is physical when taking on. All of a sudden it starts jumping when I'm reading and I hate it. Well, you know what? Okay, so okay, pretty good run defender, getting off the blocks. Okay, as a pass rusher, razor back. He Razorback is technical sound. He uses his hands well and has a couple. I did this do that. Couple of solid moves with a cross job. I heard read that. So, and that's, according, well, who knows who's going to be available at that time? Okay. When I would mention Okay, okay, let's just do that. What I would mention about H. Lee in the hot seat in years past, it seemed to offend a few Lions fans. Yeah, true, Johnny. Um, all aboard the sleepy time. True, 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 true. But one thing I think that the Lions, we got to look at it. The Lions are not always going to have golf, So is Hendon Hooker, basically, just being prepared for the future? You know, I mean, how many times have we seen where, I mean, Justin Fields, he comes to Chicago, Mitchell Trubisky before him, of course, comes to comes to Chicago. You don't have an O line. You're throwing right in to being that starting quarterback, but your team is not capable of defending you because you don't have the O line to block for you. So you take a lot of punishment. Yeah. Oh man. So excuse the yawning. No, I don't. I hate yawning as much as I am. I can't stop. That's the bad part. Okay. They say I got 4 people watching right now. You guys feel free to hop in. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat too. Uh, Anybody who wants to hop on, there's a link to hop on. More than welcome to join the fun here. Maybe you guys can help keep me awake too. Uh, okay. Yeah, I can't stop Johnny either. Yeah, but at least everybody's not hearing your yawns like they're hearing mine. That's a problem. Oh, it's a problem. Everybody's hearing mine. Oh, jeez. Yeah, here I am. Now they can see my. Shit, I just turned on my camera. First time I had my camera on during this show. So, is Hendon Hooker the quarterback of the future? Is what I was trying to say, more or less. Ugh. Oh gosh. I don't need to see me on. Yeah. Oh man. It is. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's snowing currently. I know we're supposed to get another snowstorm. It's snowing. It has snowed outside. We didn't get much earlier Saturday. Well, it doesn't help when my mouth is open so much because I'm yawning and I got small eyes anyway. What was that? Yawning and talking. Hee hee hee. God dang. It just can't stop. It just won't stop. See some. Uh, uh, I'm just. Yeah, the yawning sucks though. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back. But as might as well try out some of this stuff here. We all know what to do. Let's get that part of it. Yeah, the yawning just kind of sucks when it's so much. You guys are listening to the late show, and yes, it's late or early in the morning, however you want to say that. But yeah, I had kind of a long day. I didn't have to work this weekend, which is nice. Actually, I ended up getting 2 weekends in a row off because they were working at stuff. Oh wow! I think okay. So you had so you seen a video of a man and his little dog sleeping in the snowfall. He had an inflatable tent, inflatable bed with a stove heater, a large TV. Wow! Wow. That tent is made, I think, by Aussie company. Good tent for like 1900. Wow. So how do you, so was that electric heater that he had in there? Oh no. So with the stove, heater, and a large TV. Man, it just seems like the dang heater and the stove would melt the darn thing. That's what I'm thinking. But it was kind of deal maybe for the homeless. It was super nice, but I often frown upon like I often frown upon that since it costs. Yep, true. What kind of stove with a wood burning stove? Wow. So, but it wow. To cook with, he had propane. Had a no to cook with. He had a propane stove. The heater was a wood burner, but it was high class. Okay, cool. But it's just yeah, it's weird though because it seems like the heat wouldn't melt. Oh, you should see me right now. The way I'm my posture right now would not be good. Yeah, I kind of slouched down in the chair and it's kind of I'm really relaxing right now. Okay, so the propane stove was not made at all. Thank you. Wow. So really, if you look at it, I mean, that's kind of and of course it exhausts getting to outside and it's like not only burn the test but then you get that carbon dioxide inside the tin and then you die from that poison. You know? Right. Yeah, I know sometimes I put your stuff off. But yeah, you guys are listening to the Maniac Sports Late Show. I hope I'll have more. You keep saying maybe more of these things. I really got to do more. But this is of course, this is a new week episode. I did cheap shows. If you want to look at, they did a half-hour show on Friday. Did an hour show on Saturday. And been on here since 12:30. Right now, I'm an hour and a half so far into the show. So that's good. Okay, if the guy had a little dog, the guy and his little dog, not if the guy and his little dog were in the U.S., maybe in an area, we get some CDL, come by, shake the tent, and look inside. Uh, yeah, maybe, maybe. Tim, I like those vibes where you see. I like those bad vibes where you see some parts sleeping, and then in the middle of the night you get someone bothering you. It's super creepy. Yeah, that would be definitely. Yeah, that would be super creepy. You know, you're in the middle of the night. You know what? I mean, it's also super creepy while you're sitting in the middle. Uh, you know, uh, yeah, yeah. When I drove from Florida to Arizona, I slept in the cab of a U-Haul truck. Had a crowbar with me in case somebody broke the window trying to get in. That was smart. That was smart, definitely. I'm sure you would have been afraid. Oh my God. I'm sure you wouldn't have been afraid to use it either. Yeah, sometimes that's true. Yeah, shoot, come on. Stop yawning. Now I'm talking to myself here. They're going to think I gone crazy. Now I know if I really start answering myself, I'll know I gone crazy, and I'll just go ahead and check myself into the places with the straight jacket myself. So how's life been treating you? Been going all right with you? I know we. And were you surprised at the Super Bowl? Were you? You know, I I was not. I was not surprised. And I'll tell you, I'm so sick of Kansas City. You know, the only team that I mean, I was sick of New England too when they won so many Super Bowls. The only team I want to see do a three-peat, but first they got to do a one is the first line. That's the only team I ever want to see do a three-peat. I don't. I PM'd you on Facebook, but no reply. Oh, sorry. Oh no, no, no. I'm. There's just been a lot going on. I'm sorry. I've been fighting, and I've been definitely been fighting a lot of tiredness
lately. Uh, so you know, it's just, but no, God, no, I was not upset, and I do sincerely apologize for not, uh, for not answering. You know, I've been really been meaning to actually get up, and I've been trying to get up earlier, trying to do some stuff during the day, so where I have not been. You know, I, I, I have not been able to get up during the day and do what I've been wanting to do. You know, more than, and then when I come home, you know, it's just I've been basically going right to bed. You know, and then sometimes I don't see everything right away either on Facebook because I turn on my notifications, all right, and I get so many notifications that I don't always look at every right away. I mean, so that's my bad for sure. Now, I'll tell you, it did take me a bit to get it back. But like I've been, oh, I mean, you know, when I've been coming home, I've been not in a bad way, but basically do a lot of stuff. Dealing with, my wife has seasonal depression, too, so this type of weather is very hard on her. So in some ways, me and her is going to get closer in some things too. Yeah. So when I come home from work, you know, I'll go ahead and a lot of times I'll bring home food and stuff and then really, you know, just eating and then fall asleep shortly afterwards. You know, so and then I just ain't been able to really get up that early and do things either. So that's been a lot of. So there's just been a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. But like I said, it was my bad. I should have.
Oh, okay. I don't know how I missed some of those. Yeah, it's cold there.
I'll call. I mean, it's been fluctuating. It was like 27 earlier today, but then we have gotten days where it's been minus. Um, uh, Sometimes it's been three. Of course, it was 27 earlier today. That was kind of like a heat wave. Uh, Worse has been worse. You know, it's going. Yeah. Oh God. And you know what? That's true. A lot of times I only get one break. A lot of times I only get one half hour break, and it's like, and then like we were this week they were trying to force us to cover because I run two sausage oven lines, and we have a patty inspector that um, needs to check you know, make sure all the patties are, they got to pull off the bad ones and stuff that we don't send out, stuff like that. So this week they were trying to make it where we we have to cover their breaks. Now, at least one of them, and then they'll have somebody else cover the other one. Now, covering a break for 30 minutes is bad enough. You gotta have checks 30 30 minutes, and like sometimes you know you you don't end up getting, you cannot be off the line to do like weight dimensions, and some of the checks I got to do is outside the oven room. Oh, and plus I pallet work too. Of course, they don't send someone can send me to the doctor or anything like that. You know, they just get a report and give me some ice, and of course, lay me some food to not end up fracturing. Yeah, they usually have a lot of traction, but the other part about this area where I left, there was ice and stuff like that. So I had pretty hard, but one of the things work don't like to do is they don't like to. They would send me to the hospital or a clinic or whatever, then it would have been a recordable, and they didn't want that. So, but I'll tell you, if I ever fought, I hurt myself really good. But what I was saying is that they wanted me to cover the breaks well, and when you're on the line doing their job, you cannot get off the line because if something gets past you, that number one, you don't want the customer to get. Number two, if it's folded or something that could be really bad, and then they'll even they'll write you up for going ahead and you get off the line. Even to do your job, they can write you up for getting off the line because you're not supposed to get off the line. But then when you have people that take like 45-minute breaks, when it's supposed to be a half-hour break, and you gotta get the two lines done, the weights, dimensions, temp steps, you know, make sure everything's cooked and stuff like that. And it just doesn't leave you a lot of time when they go ahead and they take a lot longer than they should. So, and I don't know if I would have had. I got a different supervisor. He seems all right. My former supervisor passed away. So that's that. Oh man. Well, somebody say Miles Garrett, praise to the TV. But I would love to see Miles Garrett as long as we could. As long as we could get away without giving up our whole team. Yeah, yeah. Music was starting to drive me crazy. Oh, I don't like that one. That background ain't too bad. I don't know how much I like that one. There. That ain't bad. But yeah, I do need to think about. So, how's work been? Are you still doing your two different jobs and stuff like that? Uh, Hope work's been going good for you. Well, yeah, once again, you guys are listening to Maniac Sports. This is Maniac Tim, your host. Yeah, I know I've not been talking, at least for the last half hour, too much about sports, but this show generally is mostly about sports. Mostly about the Detroit Lions. We did touch on a little, or I did touch on a little bit about Super Bowl. It was something I think that we should have expected. Uh, but it's hard to expect that, especially when you have the winning record in the postseason that Patrick Mahomes has. It it's hard to think, and when with the storybook telling that, you know, er, I really think the NFL really wanted to see, yeah, to have that three-peat. Uh, but it wouldn't have been fair to the Eagles if something would happen. So the Eagles, they went in, they took care of business, they kicked butt, took no names, got the job done, and they are the Super Bowl champions. Uh, of course, now looking forward, we do got where the UFL is going to be starting. Uh, I haven't heard much about the Arena League if that's going to still go on. I know they had some financial troubles. Some teams did last year. Uh, I'm I did hear where Roger Goodell did say that it's not if the switching back to talking about the NFL, it's not if the season will ever become 18 games, is when the season will become 18 games. So and I know there's been talk about expanding the NFL expanding into other countries. Uh, I don't like that idea. I don't. I I could see expanding into Mexico, Canada, or whatever. Just maybe a slow growth. But I just you get one or two teams in way over in Europe. It's like what the hell. And, they're going to be the ones that get all the draft picks, and then you have the expansion draft where you can only protect so many of your key players. You know, I mean, in all fairness, you can understand why they do it that way. Uh, but, you um, because it's to help give the new teams, um, the new teams a fighting chance. But I don't know. I think if they do expand over in Europe, they got to expand slowly. Uh, and I don't know how you would do that. I mean, yes, you got plane rides and all that other stuff, and I don't know. I don't like I don't like it. Expand into Mexico, expand into Canada. You know, see how that goes. You know, of course, then you go ahead and you do that. You expand into Canada, and then you got the CFL. That's kind of hurting them. So it's out. Okay, next year the Dolphins and another team will be the first team to play in Spain. Yeah, that's true. Now it is okay. Who's can okay? The Dolphins are the one that's giving up the home game, right? I want to see the Texans or Dallas give up a home game. That's what I want to see. I want to see Dallas go over to Europe and give up a damn home game. Excuse the language. You know, 'cause that's one thing. That's one thing Jerry Jones has said. He's all for he's all for going to Europe, but he doesn't want to give up a home game. Now that's another thing with going to Europe. You know, you end up losing one of your home games. So I think what they should do, if you're a season ticket holder, you got to get a discount on a deep discount on a price to go to whatever country, to go to Spain or whatever country your team is. You get these discount on hotel packages, you know, and that way you're at least being fair to your fans. But the NFL is not going to do that because it's going to cost. It's going to cost them money. You might be hearing the heater because that kind of sounds like a vacuum, I guess. But I think it's our heater. But is it forcing themselves or does the other nations want it? You know, and of course the next Olympics you're gonna have the flag football and all that other stuff. I know I'm a little bit. I think the Dolphins gave up a home game. Yeah, and yeah, yeah. It's the heater. And I'm not gonna shut off the heater to mute that the noise. That, and I'm sure you understand that. And it isn't like I'm right by the heater either. Because I'm not. Excuse me. Uh, hey. So is the NFL giving them a bunch of money to do that? They're taking money. They're taking money from the NFL to do it. It's really. So they're not forcing their buying. The way I look at it, you know. But and I'm sure Dolphins have fans in the UK and stuff like that. I know the Lions do. I know the Bears do. You know, of course, we all know Megan, Seahawks fan from Australia. We know that. You know. Now you had NFL Europe. That didn't last. Which was first the World League of American Football. Now I think if the NFL wants to move and expand to to Europe. I think what they ought to do is reopen the NFL Europe, then two countries that want it. If they don't want it, they don't have to take it. Let them build their teams better gradually, so you don't hurt the NFL over here. And when they're when they're finally get to the point where they're close to competing for the NFL, you go ahead and you elevate. You go ahead and you elevate their teams to the next level, make them NFL, give them NFL franchises if they want it. Uh, I mean, I heard England could possibly have two teams. Oh, God. But yeah, I do think I'm going to close this down, though. I'm, I'm not winning the fight as far as I'm not winning the fight as far as against the yawning and stuff. And I'm starting to feel tired too. And this time of night, I don't want to take an energy pill for sure. So it's nice. It's real nice talking to you. Real nice. And once again, sorry about the times where you pee on me. And I did not answer you. You know, once again, I'll say it's my bad. It is my bad. You know, but it wasn't. It was not that I was not mad. I mean, there. I around Christmas time or right after Christmas holiday or something like that. Um, I got real sad. I got. I think I might have told you. Where I actively work and I took the few days off Michigan medical leave and it actually ended up oh god actually ended up going to the hospital or had it where I ended up having them extend it one more day so I could see yeah so I could see the 49ers game. But you know but in saying that, this is Maniac Tim with Maniac Sports, and yeah, forward down the field, the charging team that will not yield. And when they blue and silver wave, rah, 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 coming with honor victory, we shall claim a Lions victory. And I know I've got a sentence somewhere in there. I have not spoke to Val, in a long time. Uh, Last I knew, I had seen on Facebook where she was working for a venue for I think the AT&T Stadium or something like that. But she would be like a guard there or something like that, helping out with concerts and stuff. I don't think I ever have. Yeah, I don't think I ever talked to Nicole. Ugh. But right now, I'm really getting where it's like really getting tired. So it's starting to kick my butt. So everybody, so be safe. Uh, I do gotta end this because I'm really starting to fall asleep. Uh, okay, all right, yeah. I haven't, I haven't talked to Nicole. Uh, basically since she was doing that streaming, and they felt, oh, I'll tell you, yeah. No, I haven't heard from her at all this year. Yeah, thank you. You too. You too, Grandizer 12. Uh, this is Maniac Sports and Entertainment because I don't know how entertaining I've been. I know I had a yawning contest, and I think I won that one because I know it was a yawning contest between me and Grandizer 12, but you could hear me, you couldn't hear him. So I'm going I'm going to claim victory. I am the yawning contest champion. Uh, but thank you for coming in. Um, and yeah, and I really want. Is there anybody else who wants to comment too? I will. Yeah, really work well. But I don't think I'm seeing and I am real sorry if somebody on Facebook has been commenting. I really don't see the comments on Facebook. All right, and but thank you. You have a good night, Granddaddy 12. Uh, take care. This is Maniac Sports. I'm Maniac Tim. Uh, hope to be on again later on Sunday or maybe Monday morning. Uh, but you guys have a good night. Thank you very much. Over and out.